Thanks for coming to MinnesotaBlack RobeRegiment. As always, appreciate a subscription, feedback, comments, likes, dislikes, any of that stuff is welcome. Civility is a must. Agree or disagree with me, I absolutely insist on civility. And that's coming from a person who gets pretty heated over some issues. So now onto the topic. This is another installment of Casual Cognitive Dissonance. It's going to be a different flavor this time. We're going to be talking about the casual cognitive dissonance of the right. Now, I'm not going to be showing you specific comments, but I'm going to be talking about something and then showing you how this plays out. So for the weeks and months that have been leading up to the inauguration of Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States, with Kamala Harris to soon be the 47th president of the United States when Sleepy Joe decides that he can no longer effectively govern. Yeah, I said it. I've been listening to people on the right, the quiet, stay at home, I don't want to get involved, I'm just trying to bide my time, reactionary Fox News conservatives. And a lot of what they've been saying is, well, you patriot, flag waving, gung-ho, politically motivated, politically active, conservative, Republican types, you're bringing a lot of this heat and this pressure on yourself. Of course, you're going to get a lot of heat from groups. And I'm sorry, Mr. President, President Biden, Antifa is more than just an idea. It is a dangerous Marxist militant movement. And so the right, the more center right, centrist type right conservatives have been saying, look, once Biden's in office, all of this stuff is going to die down. The Antifa is going to back down, and they're going to have everything that they want. They've got the House, they've got the Senate, they've got the White House now. They've got the new administration. They're gonna probably end up getting the Supreme Court, and they're gonna get the courts as a whole because Biden's gonna appoint leftist Marxist judges who have no idea what the Constitution stands for. So just calm down, all right? You radical weirdos out there who are at rallies and at protests who are talking about our Constitution being dissolved. That's not going to happen. We're going to be fine. Antifa and Black Bloc and Black Lives Matter and the new Black Panther Army, or the new Black Panthers and the new Black Liberation Army, all of those groups, they're all going to go away. The Brown Berets, the militant Hispanic radical group that are Marxist, think Che Guevara, they're all going to go away. They're going to disappear. They're going to disappear because they have what they want now. That's what they're saying. But is that true? And it's not. And that's where the casual cognitive dissonance comes in, because what we're seeing today, and in this right now, it's early Friday morning, January 22nd, when I shoot this video, and what we're seeing is, for lack of better terminology, a full-on revolt against even Joseph Biden, because they're not far enough to the left for the likes of Antifa, for the likes of Black Bloc and these other Marxist militant movements like Black Lives Matter and whatnot. They're not far enough to the left. So where I'm going to go is I'm going to take you to a Twitter feed from a young independent journalist named Andy Go. I'm sure I'm screwing that name up. It's Andy NGO. I want to say it's Andy Go, and it sounds like there's no go, but it's Go. And I'm going to take you to his Twitter feed, and I'm going to show you for about 24 hours worth of reporting from Andy. And I remember Andy's this guy who is an independent journalist. If anything, if he leans a particular direction, he's center left. He's not center right, he's center left, but he's a centrist. Andy was assaulted to the degree where he could have lost his life by Antifa. You know, that idea, the idea of Antifa. So a bunch of ideas got out and beat the holy hell out of Andy for nothing more than him being there and reporting on their activities. I want to say that happened in Seattle. So we're going to take a look here. So shall we dive in? These are the most recent tweets from Andy, starting the most recent and working our way down. Well, right here is Andy promoting his book, which Antifa, you know, the idea is only trying to get rid of. The idea is trying to get rid of an idea. The idea is. So here's one from approximately 7 hours ago. So sometime late Thursday night. Thousands of troops were sent to DC in anticipation of rioting by Trump supporters. It didn't happen. But elsewhere, Antifa carried through with their promise of violence. My latest, Biden won't stop them and neither will cops until Portland is burned down. It's a essay that he wrote. It looks like it's in the New York Post. Here's a picture of Antifa militants chanted F President Biden during a rampage through Seattle after the inauguration and smashed up the historic site of the very first Starbucks. Okay. Twitter's finally gotten around to banning several prominent Antifa accounts. Now, here's a little leftist casual cognitive dissonance for you. Twitter hasn't banned any of these accounts, for the most part, none of the well-known ones, while they were going after people like me and some of my friends here in Minnesota. Didn't ban them, even though they were threatening stalking, to dox us, some threats of violence, excuse me, some threats of violence against patriots and constitutionalists. Twitter wouldn't ban them, but boy, now, I'll tell you what, they're rising up against their pretty boy, Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris, and all of a sudden now they're getting banned. Why? Well, because Twitter's starting to recognize the danger of Antifa. Danger of Antifa. Listen to that. Danger. Antifa is a dangerous organization. They are a group. They're not an idea. They're a group. They're an organization made up of cells. They're made up of independent cells. Some of those independent cells are independent of each other within the same metro area. So there are cells of Antifa that work independently of each other in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, in the Twin Cities. Same thing with Seattle and Chicago and other places. They are cells, and they activate at different times and sometimes at the same time. So scroll down here. Let's see this. Oh, what's this say? We are ungovernable. We don't want Biden. We want revenge. Let's get a good look at that picture, shall we? Look at that. That is a Soviet era AK-47. And what's it say? We don't want Biden. We want revenge for police murders, imperialist wars, and fascist massacres. Okay. They are not going to be happy until they kill, until they murder, until they destroy conservative constitutional patriots. That's what they're after. That's what they're going for. You need to understand that. That's their sole intent. They are desperate for blood. Oh, let's see. Here's another one. This is a beautiful one. On January 20th, the night of the inauguration, Antifa rioted in Seattle for inauguration day. They started street fires, smashed up businesses, and a courthouse. They also marched to the iconic Pike Place Market, where they broke into and looted the original Starbucks. So this just keeps going on and on and on. Well, let's look at these pictures, shall we? Oh, look at that. There's an idea. Oh, there's some more ideas. Oh, look at that idea. Oh, look at that idea marching. I love it when ideas march and when ideas do things like smash up windows. Let's see here. Oh, this will be fun. Does this look familiar? Note how this black bloc member quickly breaks the window, then puts the weapon away in his backpack so there is no sign. All dressed identical to make individuals harder to ID. Deception is the key. Never show your face or reveal your true intent. Isn't that amazing? We have a mask mandate in almost every single leftist state. Minnesota, leftist run. Governor or Commissar Timothy Walz of the People's State of Marxisota. Washington is governed by a leftist. Oregon is governed by leftists. New York is governed by leftists. Washington, D.C. is governed by leftists. So let's watch this. This is beautiful. That's a collapsible police baton that he's putting away, or she. It. I don't want to misgender. That could get me thrown in prison now. Let's get a really good look at that. There's an idea. Look at all that idea. Look at all. Oh, look at that idea taking a picture of another idea. I love it when ideas take pictures of ideas. Oh, what's wrong? Oh, we have to watch that again. Let's watch that again. Watch this idea try to have an idea and then hurt his idea. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what happens when a pansy idea hits a harder idea. And a harder idea doesn't break when the pansy idea hits it. So the pansy idea hurts its idea fist. So another idea has to come up with a tool and hit the idea that's harder with a harder tool. Let's see if that works. Nope, the idea is still harder than they are. Oh no, those poor ideas. Look at all those ideas failing. Nothing worse than failed ideas. Oh, got to turn the camera off of them. That's so. Oh, bad ideas. Oh, okay, the idea won there. Finally. Nope, can't break that one. There's nothing better than when a pansy idea finally gets its butt kicked by an inanimate object. And notice that says F Portland Police Bureau. Yeah. They broke one and now they're happy. We're going to roll on here. I like this one a little bit, not because it's an example of right-wing casual cognitive dissonance, but Andy's pointing out that a New York Times opinion contributor and the vice president for the Niskanen Center, Will Wilkinson, called for Mike Pence to be lynched. He has locked down his account. So, I mean, they get to say all these things and then they just get away with it. Like if one of us called for a lynching, which we should never do, of any person, be they an elected servant or one of these miscreant thug criminal animals, we would be brought up on terroristic charges. But boy, the media can just get away with everything. Here, this one's really good. We're gonna enjoy this. look at all those ideas marching together. I love it when ideas get together and march. They're chanting F Joe Biden, as you can see. So, I mean, it's just kind of over and over and over again, kind of the same things. And why is this important? Why is it important to point this out? This is important to point out because the right has the conservative base, not the alt-right, not extreme right, not the far right, not any of that. Just the right, the conservative traditional base of the United States has buried its head in the sand for years, a long time. And they fail to realize the severity of these very dangerous organizations that I have somewhat tongue-in-cheek been referring to as ideas. And they're over there kind of whistling past the graveyard, hoping that if now that Biden's in, everything's just going to calm down and we can kind of get back to normal. But we're not. We're not going to get back to normal as long as groups like Antifa, Black Bloc, Black Lives Matter, the New Black Panthers, the New Black Liberation Army, the Brown Berets, all of them, as long as these Marxist militias are allowed to exist and march unchecked. Think about this. We have patriots and constitutionalists in the United States who had no part at all in the violent actions that took place on January 6th in Washington, D.C. No part, have been investigated by the FBI. The FBI opened more cases in that single episode and have investigated more people for what happened in Washington, D.C. on the 6th than they've ever opened for a single event ever. Ever. Antifa, Black Bloc, all these other affiliated Marxist militias are allowed to march all over, to go all sorts of places, unchecked, unfettered. And there are some arrests here and there. But remember, our esteemed Vice President, Kamala Harris, as she was running for office back during the riots in Minneapolis, formed a bailout fund for these radicals. And the right continues to hold its head in the sand, thinking everything's just going to go away and everything's going to be safe and everything's going to be okay. Why? Because it's easier than admitting that they might have to stand up and demand that action be taken. And here's the problem. Joe Biden and his administration aren't going to touch Antifa. They're terrified of them. And every single governor in the United States, outside of a few, are terrified of Antifa and the power that they wield. One of Saul Alinsky's 12 rules for radicals said, power is not what you have, but what your opponent thinks you have. The right believes that Antifa has a lot of power. And so they operate in fear of Antifa. And we can't do that anymore. This casual cognitive dissonance of the right, of the traditional base of the United States, of patriots and constitutionalists who would never take part in any of this agitprop stuff. They would never do any of that. Are also too terrified to speak out because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to be harassed. They don't want to be harangued. But it's time, America. It's time. Now, more than ever, as the left mounts this attack against us, as we have people like AOC demanding that duly elected servants of different states be investigated and expelled from the Senate. We have it happening in the state of Minnesota. Representatives are being investigated and they want to expel them for inciting violence. While other elected servants, John Thompson, House District 67A, incited people to burn down Hugo. Now, they didn't burn Hugo down, but he told people they should if they don't get their way. Nobody says a word. No law enforcement investigation of him. No finding of fact. None of that. My fellow conservative, patriotic, constitutionalist, right centrist, normative right people, you have got to wake up. This crap is coming for you. And you can be out there and talk about, oh, I just want peace, or I'm just gonna believe in Jesus. I'm just gonna wait for God to do his thing. That's the coward's way out. Just whistling past the graveyard, pretending that nothing's gonna happen to you as long as you're keeping your head down and moving fast in a straight line. They're gonna come for you because they're not going to be happy until their bloodthirst is satiated with the blood of patriots. You have to resist this tyranny, otherwise it will get you. Sic Semper Tyrannis.